it's interesting who tells the stories, you know, because when I moved here in '79, Wynwood was a Puerto Rico. When you wanted good Puerto Rican food, you could go to Wynwood in the evenings, and there were these sidewalk, not vendors because they lived there, in front of their homes. You could get a nice paella or beans and rice meal. But there were families that were rooted. Those families went back home to Puerto Rico every year. Their children were being brought up with the culture. And a sprinkling of folks from Santo Domingo and Honduras in the mix. And it was basically an underserved neighborhood, large, many blocks of it. And so, you know, I knew the place. I knew the place well. And in the corner that I worked in at the bakehouse, that corner had, where the crossroads was at 32nd and 5th, African-American kids in the HUD homes and other kids from the Caribbean diaspora were there. But there were gangs on each corner. And sometimes you couldn't cross the corners if you were from the wrong side of the street. And the kids would come over to the bakehouse and share those stories with us. I'm still friends with some of those kids now who are now in their 20s, you know. So this is not a story. This is a lived history of a neighborhood that has, and I'm not making an argument for either side of the change. I'm saying a neighborhood that has been gentrified on almost until it is unrecognizable. And it has lost some of the grit and the charm that the neighborhood had before the big buildings came. And, you know, a conversation on gentrification can go south really quickly. But change is usually, folks want good things. Folks want beautiful things in their neighborhoods. But it's not necessarily the folks who live in the neighborhoods who benefit from the change, because most of those families are no longer there.